Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Dodgers earned back-to-back World Series title in Game 7 thriller over Blue Jays. Toronto. Where there was a will, there was a way. The Dodgers, buried in an early hole Saturday night, demonstrated one type of determination in returning to catch the Blue Jays in the late innings. And then in the 11th inning, another emerged. Will Smith launched a go-ahead homer that proved the Game 7 winner as the Dodgers repeated as World Series champions with a 5-4 triumph in 11 innings over the Blue Jays at Rogers Center. Smith homered against Shane Bieber to give the Dodgers their first lead. The shot was the Dodgers' third in 4 innings. The Dodgers were the first club since the Yankees in 2000 to repeat as World Series winners. The Blue Jays were within 2 outs of the franchise's first championship in 32 years, until closer Jeff Hoffman surrendered a game-tying homer to Miguel Rojas in the 9th. The thing that I'm most proud of is we have created a culture that everyone who comes in here knows when you put on a Dodgers uniform you expect to hoist up that trophy. Max Muncy said, "It's all about the team. Whatever you can do to help the team win." Nobody was greater for the Dodgers than Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who fired 2 superscript 2/3 innings of scoreless relief a night after throwing 96 pitches in his Game 6 start. Yamamoto's last bit of magic was getting Alejandro Kirk to hit into a game-ending double play with a tying run at third base. Yamamoto was selected World Series MVP. "There's a reason he didn't lift the World Series trophy," Freddie Freeman said. "I don't think he could." The Dodgers, with a record $400 million budget, depended largely on starting pitchers, Shohei, Ohtani, Tyler Glasnow, Blake Snell, and Yamamoto, to get through the game, avoiding a bullpen core that had underperformed for most of the season. "When I started warming in the bullpen, I was not really sure I could pitch to the best of my ability," Yamamoto said through an interpreter. "But as I started getting warmed up because I started making a little bit of an adjustment, then I started thinking I can go in and do my job." The roof nearly blew off the stadium in the bottom of the 3rd inning as Bo Bichette smashed a 3-run homer that pushed the Blue Jays into control with a 3-0 lead. So, the question became whether Toronto's pitching was good enough one last time to defeat a Dodgers offense that has underachieved for most of this postseason. The names Ohtani, Freeman, Mookie Betts, Muncy, and Teoscar Hernandez are all too familiar. Close, but not quite for the Blue Jays, who couldn't capture a ring for bench coach Don Mattingly in his first trip to the Fall Classic in his 36 seasons in a Major League jersey. "I thought we had chances to sweep them," Blue Jays manager John Schneider said. "We played our game, and our game is as good as anybody in baseball. It is 2 heavyweights going back and forth." Rojas, who didn't start in the series until Game 6, smashed a Hoffman slider over the left field fence with 1 out in the 9th to tie it 4-4. "We were going to play 27 outs, Dodgers manager Dave Roberts said. "Obviously, it didn't look great in that moment, but I trust Rojas to take that at-bat, and he got a pitch that he could handle and got the biggest hit he's ever had in his life." An inning earlier, the Dodgers had inched closer on Muncy's homer against Trey Yesovich. The Blue Jays threatened in the bottom of the 9th on Bichette's single against Snell and Addison Barter's walk. Yamamoto, who worked 6 innings on Saturday, entered to plunk Kirk before getting Dalton Varsho to hit a grounder that into a force out at the plate. Ernie Clement was retired on a long fly that sent the game to extra innings. Ohtani, working on short rest, was evacuated after seeding Bichette's blast. The right-hander lasted just 2 superscript 1/3 innings and allowed 3 earned runs on 5 hits with 2 walks. It was a second straight subpar start in the series for Ohtani, the losing pitcher in Game 4. In the 3rd, George Springer hit leading off, and Nathan Luke's sacrifice fly advanced the runner before Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was deliberately walked. Bichette's 3-run blast, which traveled 442 feet, ensued. 2 defensive jams by the Blue Jays reduced the Dodgers to only 1 run in the 4th against Scherzer after loaded the bases. First, Dalton Varsho's diving snag on Teoscar Hernandez's sinking line drive turned into a sacrifice fly, drawing the Dodgers to within 3-1. The subsequent batter, Tommy Edman, hit a line drive that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. grabbed diving near the first base foul line for the last out. Justin Wrobleski drilled Andres Jimenez in the right hand in the 4th, And after gestures and words were exchanged between the two, the benches emptied. Players also ran in from the respective bullpens, but order was restored without a punch thrown. Max Scherzer was removed after giving a single to Rojas in the fifth. The future Hall of Famer, who also started at Game 7 of the World Series for the Nationals in 2019, gave one earned run on 4 hits and 1 walk with 3 strikeouts over 4 superscript 1/3 innings. But the Dodgers clawed for a run in the 6th against another former Mets pitcher, Chris Bassett, to slice the Blue Jays' lead to 3-2. Mookie Betts drew a leadoff walk in the 3rd and scored on Tommy Edman's sacrifice fly after Muncy had singled. The Blue Jays retrieved the run in the bottom of the 8th on Jimenez's RBI double. Clement singled leading off the inning against Glasnow and swiped second. "We've put together something pretty special," said Roberts, a World Series winning manager for the 3rd time since 2020. "To do what we have done in this span of time is pretty remarkable. Let the commentators and fans talk about whether the dynasty or not, but I am quite happy with where we are at.